Ну что ж, друзья, всем привет! И с вами сейчас Тимофей Кошарный, или просто Тимон. И буквально 10 минут остается до начала квалификации второго этапа RDS-GP здесь, в Рязани, на автодроме Атрон. И сейчас я буду вам рассказывать, какое же будет судейское задание, что же придумали судьи, и вы увидите новую конфигурацию трассы Атрон. Поехали! Здесь у нас, как вы поняли, находится стартовая арка. Стартовая арка у нас в этом году новая, красивая, мощная. Я надеюсь, ее не будет сдувать ветром, хотя на первом этапе такие попытки были. И вот здесь, прямо сейчас, где стою я, расположен непосредственно старт автомобилей. Сегодня на квалификации все будут стартовать вот по этой правой дорожке. Здесь будет ехать первый автомобиль, а по левой дорожке будет ехать автомобиль, который будет его преследовать. И для того, чтобы у первого автомобиля не было возможности быстро-быстро уехать со старта, и второй мог его догнать, здесь сделано специально, вот как видите, из конусов, так называемая шикана, которая сделана по автомобилю. И поэтому машина не может нажать полностью на газ, и ей нужно аккуратненько вот сделать такое движение, и дальше уже можно ехать в полный газ. Ну что ж, и сейчас я нахожусь непосредственно у первой внешней клиппинг-зоны. Как видите, мы ее нарисовали на асфальте в виде такого прямоугольничка. Также мы продублировали специально для пилотов, чтобы они могли на нее целиться и видели издалека. Мы покрасили белой краской кусок гардрели. Кстати, вот эта гардрель очень знаменитое место, потому что именно сюда 3 года назад приехал Никита Шиков ночью на ночной тренировке. И в прошлом году здесь произошла очень яркая и серьезная авария между Дамиром Идиатуллиным и Антоном Сваринским. Значит, задача каждого участника максимально близко к краю асфальта проехать задней частью автомобиля. И для удобства судей, чтобы они могли визуально оценить близость к краю трассы, здесь еще расположены 2 такие горизонтальные линии. Мы приближаемся ко второй клиппинг-зоне, она тоже внешняя. И обратите внимание вот на эту линию, которая расположена здесь. Эта линия на асфальте означает внутреннюю границу трассы. И пересекать эту линию категорически запрещено. И за каждое пересечение одним колесом пилоты получают минус по траектории минус 5 баллов, за 2 колеса получают минус 10 баллов, за 3 минус 20 баллов, ну а за 4 колеса пилот получает 0. И вот это самое сочное и самое, наверное, знаменитое место в Рязани – стена плача. После такой резкой и достаточно быстрой постановки, которая была там, пилотам нужно так предугадать траекторию и скорость своего автомобиля, чтобы как можно ближе к стене и как можно глубже заехать вот в эту вторую внешнюю клиппинг-зону. И если вы обратите внимание, она стала на метр меньше и на метров 5 короче, чем в прошлом году. То есть задача для пилотов на этот раз усложнилась. Они должны быть более точны и должны рисковать еще больше для того, чтобы оказаться ближе к стене. Все вы помните, что раньше располагалась здесь внутренняя клиппинг-зона, но в этом году судьи посчитали, что она здесь не нужна, и ее здесь больше нет. То есть пилотам не обязательно ехать максимально близко к этому краю трассы. Здесь идеальная траектория расположена через центр дороги. Ну и, конечно, самым большим изменением в судейском задании стало вот это место, потому что раньше здесь была внутренняя клиппинг-зона, то сейчас здесь, в этом месте, судьи изменили на внешнюю клиппинг-зону. И вот она расположена здесь. Как видите, траектория, которая была раньше, она изменилась. Здесь мы имеем внешнюю клиппинг-зону, в которую должны попасть задние колеса автомобиля максимально широко. Но судьи, так как с вышки им не очень хорошо видно, они нарисовали 3 вот таких вот полоски, которые сделаны для того, чтобы смотреть по передней части автомобиля, насколько глубоко заехала машина в клиппинг-зону. Я вам могу сказать, у большой машины здесь получается преимущество, потому что она длиннее. И, естественно, если она заехала сюда, то в клиппинг-зону она попадает точно. Следующая зона, в принципе, почти не изменилась, кроме того, что стала чуть покороче. Это внешняя клиппинг-зона, но она расположена в таком месте, где всегда очень сильно накопано, и есть очень большая вероятность того, что колесо заднее может соскочить с трассы, и тогда у автомобиля может сильно измениться траектория движения. Поэтому задача пилотов оставаться в пределах трассы, ни в коем случае не покидая даже одним колесом ее пределов, потому что здесь это очень и очень опасно. А здесь расположена последняя наша клиппинг-зона, даже не клиппинг-зона. Судьи сделали это не зоны, а так называемый touch and go. То есть это место на трассе, где достаточно обозначить хотя бы одним колесом свое присутствие. И после этого автомобиль может уже двигаться по своей траектории. Но так как она сдвинута сюда максимально к наружу, но, как видите, еще сзади осталось чуть-чуть места, запаса. Судьи дали следующее задание. В этой части трассы, это почти финиш, то есть последний поворот перед финишем, они хотят видеть максимальный угол, максимально агрессивную езду и хороший контролируемый финиш, который расположен примерно через 30-40 метров отсюда. Пойдемте посмотрим. А вот здесь расположена так называемая финишная линия. Это черта, после которого автомобиль должен прекратить свой дрифт. При этом он должен прекратить свой дрифт плавно, без каких-то резких движений, потому что в случае парного заезда, естественно, второй может, и были у нас здесь такие случаи, были столкновения после финиша. Поэтому если машина едет первой, то она должна максимально без торможения, плавно убрать угол и ехать дальше на прямых колесах.
В коллаборации Мантос и Александр у нас все здорово вышло и получились парные заезды очень хорошие.
Ну что, будем надеяться, что этот почин продолжится и в официальной части, которая у нас во второй половине дня состоится. Александр Сиверцев, пилот российской дрифт-серии, очень опытный арбитр. Саш, какие у тебя эмоции относительно начала этого уикенда?
Ну, на самом деле, здорово, что мы нашли новую конфигурацию по Рязани. Вот, ребята долго привыкали, видно было, как прям ехали по старой конфигурации. А в итоге все получилось, и вот сегодня с утра прям все поехали, скорость увеличилась. Я думаю, будет очень интересно.
Да, у нас обновился рекорд на постановке, 139 км в час Георгий Чевчан показал. Ну что ж, совсем скоро мы посмотрим, чем все это закончится после двух зачетных квалификационных попыток. Спасибо большое, ребят. Мы вас отправляем на судейский пост ваш, на вышку. Ну а сами прервемся на пару минут и затем уже вернемся в режиме квалификации.
967 94 19. Галина Павловна. Все. Не знаю, вы созвонитесь с ней. Честно, я просто сейчас в Рязани, поэтому не могу сказать. Созвонитесь, она там вам все подскажет. Хорошо? Все, спасибо. До свидания. наушники отключены, они же наушники же.
Нет, трансляция идет не без звука.
А, не знаю, давай посмотрим.
Вопрос где? Вопрос где? Он на крыше. Так близко? Нет, это по-русски, надо искать английский. Как пользоваться этим штукой? Не. Здесь должно быть снизу.
Английская версия?
Да нет, канал, на котором находится. Почему здесь какая-то?
Я не помню.
А, ну да. Нет. Как мы канал? А почему? Надо было приехать чуть пораньше, сейчас у нас гонка идет, я вообще немного... Я понимаю, я не этим не занимаюсь. Я Роме дал команду, ну, чемпиону. Он сказал мне лично полчаса назад, что он все организовал, все решил. Вам нужно просто на въезде получить браслеты, чтобы вас пропустили. Я, к сожалению, ничего сейчас делать не могу. Увы, я занят.
такой красивой куртки? Сейчас была бы у меня такая красивая куртка, конечно, сейчас кондей бы уже включился.
Опять все поломали. Лосев опять ничего не
старт, поехали.
О, привет, hello. It's very far from us though. Yeah? How many hours? 5 hours. No, it's just traffic. Yeah. You should go by the train. It's crazy, yeah.
And, I left like 12 o'clock last night. And yesterday my visa, the closest to my house, to drive back to the house is like 8 hours drive, and it was like. So what you?
Now it's qualification.
Yeah. So are you doing translation or someone do translation?
So tuning the queue.
Alright,
Okay.
cool. Cool.
So you can check right now the sound, or you can wait 5 minutes. Relax.
So yeah, we're gonna. Who's fucking tired? Give a seat so.
Oh, it's a lot of chairs. Don't worry.
So how many runs have we done so far?
I think it's about 5. One loop, so it's like loop. Second loop.
Gaia on my phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
But you can try. The password is master controller. Yeah. The password is master. Он только что приехал, он только зашел в помещение, сейчас начинает говорить. Let's try, yeah.
I don't know where to put.
1 2 1 2.
Talk.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Есть звук?
Еще раз повторюсь, начиная с второй клиппинг-зоны от стены, вот когда на крас переходишь, слишком крупные планы. Первый проезд постарайся чуть более общий план. На грани вообще? На грани или до крана, которая камера? Нет, до крана прекрасно все. Вот которые глобы смотрят на разгоне до постановки, все прекрасно. Проблема...
Sorry, what's your name again?
Susha.
Susha. I don't remember from last time. So, you have good knowledge of every driver, don't you?
Yes.
So, like, what I would like.
I have
So, what I would like you to me is filling all the time. It's like Grigor King from Moscow. He's a really good driver. You know, it's filling the stats, how he came in the first round. Do you have that kind of information?
Yes,
Yeah.
but
so-
not about all, because there is a few
some new
pilots.
drivers, So it's cool if you can be the information person to me, and I'll go. It's like transfers away. It's the second outside. Loads of small transfers against the third outside tip. Lots of power, lots of angle, and then he transfers against the whatever it's like.
It's not as third touch, so I'm waiting for you. Yes, Marcus. Marcus.
Yeah, I know what just like, but he's judging the
Дим, смотри, можно сейчас перерывы, большие паузы между этим. Вот эти 4 классиков тоже убрать. Они так,
So when we have a break,
фраза, в принципе,
I think you can talk with Marcus about pass.
Well, the thing is, I can understand it pretty fast. The drive. You don't have to essentially
Matt?
that. You know, the one that have the scoring.
Let's say check out.
Рожденный есть кто-нибудь в этом канале? Да, Кураги. А то просто такая тишина, я вот думал, на другой канал какой-то вот переключите, я подключил.
Many spectators coming for this tomorrow, do you think?
Yeah, I think all brass time shows are still
And is there a lot of people around this area? It's a cool track out there.
Your first time here?
Yeah.
It's my favorite track.
Yeah?
Yeah, because this is the hotel. I live here.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
I
you
seen
can see
So-
from the window.
If you can explain to me, there's 4 outside zones. It's mostly outside zones.
Yeah, it's all outside zones. And the last one is touch and go.
Oh yeah. And is there many points for initiation? Do you think all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, but I don't think the first and second zone is most cost. Most important. First and second most important. Third is fourth, and 5 is the touch and go. Here touch and go. So touch and go.
I never understood.
Okay.
It was a wall or something.
No. The zone.
You go into.
Zone. You must go here
Yeah.
and go here. So zone.
So transfer to.
Yeah. You must go all through the zone. But the touch and go. You can go just a touch. Да, он всем участникам расскажет.
Все, потому что они сейчас разматываются, готовы к отличию.
No, our group is 2 runs in one group.
Are there any groups for qualified so far?
I think 5 or 6, I don't know.
So there's about 6, there's only 6 or 7 groups.
Yes, 6.
So the first run for qualified. joke about it, like, okay, it took me like 5 hours to get here. It's just all the information, like, I want to ask you, it's like, oh, he's from Moscow, isn't he?
Yes.
So, it's just getting all this interesting information, because the problem we have now is filling in time.
Блядь, интересно, слоумо. О, слоумо есть.
He's lucky the blocks with
Ну ему как спаслось.
Вот что значит поролон.
Вот что такое поролон.
Oh, the back on the concrete as well.
Один, два, три, 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Да? Кадры.
Все-таки Федя Воробьев очень любит slow motion кадры, ловит эти камеры просто второй раз.
Часто очень бывает, как раз, что касание даже не системы
Я думаю, специально подкаст, знаешь, что там
Но если бы не поролон, так вообще был бы пипец. Но так он вроде целый, да. Я думаю, что починит.
There's a car on the truck.
Дим, там есть запасные 4 блока, они лежат за углом. Прямо вот за въездом у трибуны. Не туда.
I have some information here. Car.
Yeah, because
I think it's kind of
I used this because like last time
in Moscow race, right?
Nikolai would just give me some extra details because Ekaterina, there's 2 Russian women drifting, so try and play on that, all these extra elements. Gotcha's 2-time champion. I'm just half asleep still. I'm like, oh. Yeah, any extra information that you can give me would be like would make it is just filling the time because when we've nothing to say, this is the problem I find with RDS. The event takes so long, you have to keep talking and it's so hard. Like Nikolai, I don't know how he did in Moscow. It was so long. How do you keep talking? And for in this the problem with battles. That's why I say they really need a translator because we do not know what's going on. So when they
Of course, you don't understand what
we're
talking
like,
about.
is
Nikolai,
there a
so-
top 32? Is there a fucking one more time? Is there like, interviews? So after doing interviews, obviously you can be translating and stuff. Will there be probably be interviews there?
Yes. Today only on top 32.
So then you can do all those and it just fills in time. But like the more information, I can fill in the information on Charles, but there might be a guy like Andrei Kessiga. I don't have any extra information on him, so it's just interesting facts. How many championships he's won? Okay, he's from Moscow. It's very easy. Like Ekaterinburg,
Тимофей Кошаров в канале.
I presume that's far, far away. You can tell me that's 6 hours away. There's a huge amount of drifters coming from that area. She's top drifter in that area. I don't know.
Okay.
Тимофей Кошаров в канале.
I don't know about
Yeah, but I can fill international stuff is easy for me. I do know most of the Russian drivers at this stage.
It was terrible on the first stage.
It was so painful. That was the hardest experience ever. Like, I'm only helping you because usually I prefer to produce the live stream. But I was like, the show is too long and people get bored. It's too much. It's not enjoyable, it's just too big. Then the fans don't care, they love it. I think this circuit will run fast.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
Why do you say that?
You will have some crashes. So it's the same as Moscow, but it's shorter.
Just when they finish, they can get back to the start line really fast.
Try to talk.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2
Да? Со второй группы.
1 2 1 2.
Сейчас вторая.
Пускай начнет что-то говорить, чтобы Рома хоть что-то послушал.
Can you try to say something how she's right to check for one?
Okay, here we have Ekaterina in slow-mo launching into inside of the track. Gets into outside zone quite well, misses outside zone 2. Runs deep, not too much shallow angle. See what score she drops in with. 19.22. So she gets a 74 in her second round. Can you go to YouTube and there's English stream as well, you can hear as well. If you go the RDS channel, you know the channel,
It's your best channel.
but this is Russian, if you can go hear the English. How do you pronounce your name? How do you pronounce your name again?
Susha.
Susha.
Ryan calls me
Sushi.
Sushi.
Alright. We call you Sushi from now on.
Sushi, okay. It's hard to pronounce.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Gregor Evgeny in a BMW E46.
Nothing.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Moscow, Russia, V8 LS.
It's better.
So, can you talk into this and see if you hear yourself?
1 2 1 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
Just a second. It's
Okay, folks, we're back. Daigo Saito launching out on his second run. Nice snappy early entry, runs a wide line, gets the first outside zone, drops down onto the wall, gets the second outside zone. Really taking to this track. Transfers, gets the third outside zone. The next few zones aren't worth as much points, but doing a really good job. And then it's a touch and go onto the last outside zone and goes across the finish line. So yeah, here in Atron Raceway, just south of Moscow, and looking on the replay of Saito's run, he's looking to put in a strong run after making some mistakes in the Moscow Raceway in the first event. Doing a really nice line, runs wide against the wall, drops down. You lose a lot of speed here, transfers back in, and gets the next outside zone. Powers all the way around. He's screaming. It's a Dodge NASCAR V8 engine in that Lexus. Transfers back out, gets a touch and go here. A lot of smoke, a lot of angle and commitment, and powers across the finish line. So yeah, here joined in Atron Raceway with Sushi, we'll say.
what should I say?
So yeah, we're Sushi is my translator here today, helping me go through everything and the know-how of Russian drifting. So yeah, Daigo is doing quite a good job today. We've been just dropped into this. We got here a bit late, so yeah, so pretty strong run from Saito. Overall gets a 93 and ranked in first overall. So a really, really strong run. So now we got some of the heavy hitters coming up. Alex Vladimir. He finished, he won the first event, finished second, and yeah, let's see if he can put the Lukoil racing team on the top spot for this event. Running a 840 horsepower 2JZ from Kiev in Ukraine. Very well-known driver in Eastern Europe, and yeah, really aggressive attacking driver. So I'm sure he wants a bit of redemption after coming second in the first event at Moscow Raceway. So this should be an action-packed run. Nice early initiation, could have been a bit deep in the first outside zone. Not that committed in the second outside zone either. Transfers, gets the third outside zone quite well. Doesn't look as fast as Saito. Gets the next outside zone, and then they just have to drop into this touch and go and across the finish line. Not that strong of a run really from Colophony.
He won
He's struggling with traction.
first place here in Ryazan last year.
He was first place in Ryazan last year, I'm being told. But yeah, not that deep in the first two outside zones. A lot of smoke, a lot of commitment. Transfers in, gets next two outside zones quite well. But yeah, not as committed as Saito, not as deep in the zones. Doesn't look as fast and aggressive. So he's the first of his two runs. Super nice slow-mo run. You can see he's only getting like 30% into the boxes. But yeah, the Luke Oil team of him and Kristaps Blues are looking to make waves here in RDS this year and put on a really strong run in Moscow Raceway.
It's a second group. First run of a second group.
So let's see, 26, 27, 33 in style. And he gets an 86, so he's ranked third. So yeah, I think a lot of the big name drivers aren't to come through yet. So we got Vladimir Shan, brother of Gotcha Shan from Krasnoyarsk. A really trick Nissan S14, SR20, 630 horsepower. 2.1 litre SR20. Nice early initiation, runs wide but then runs super shallow here, doesn't get the outside zone. A lot of corrections and wavering. Looks like he's a bit of a problem, misses the next outside zone. Doesn't get that outside zone either, and yeah, really scrappy run. Not as clean as going back as Saito, but yeah. So there's quite a lot of points going for the first two outside zones. He does get this first outside zone, but struggles to get the second one. So nice initiation, gets quite deep. Here he comes off and doesn't run that wide, quite shallow. So yeah, he's going to lose a lot on a line here.
Try to listen, Colin.
So yeah, Vladimir Shan, steady run, but yeah, he could have been a lot deeper in the boxes. He'll get he won't get awarded as many points for line. You can see the racing drone dropping down. Does it even hit the ground? That is super close. Yeah, you can drops the wheel off track as well, so it'll be interesting to see what the judges score him now on this one. Yeah, line was not strong. He only got 50% of the points. So you get 62 in rank 11. Stefan Azarov from Moscow. This is the car with a Nissan S15 with a Mitsubishi Evo engine. Really cool car. Super responsive, and yeah, he did pretty well in Moscow, qualifying top 10. Drops down, hits the first outside zone, cut well, foot to floor, gets the second outside zone, powers into the inside zone, gets the third outside zone. Quite a bit of angle. Misses the misses to third to outside zone. So yeah, he misses outside zone 4 and got the touch and go 1. So there is 4 outside zones and then a last touch and go before you go across the line. nice enough entry. I think the judges would want him a bit wider, but he did get the first two outside zones. And they're the most points are being awarded for those sectors. Transfer back, get the next outside zone 3 quite well. Powers along, puts on a bit of angle. British show misses that outside zone 4, so that will affect his line points, and drops in, just about gets the touch and go, and drifts across the finish line. So yeah, good run, but he'll get heavily deducted for outside zone 4.
Yesterday it was perfect. Oh, can tell you microphone. Ah, you don't hear me.
Yeah. So if you can be doing that, and just small.
From St. Petersburg.
So I have Sushi today is helping me on a translation from St. Petersburg, and she's going to be giving me the ins and outs of information or RDS today. So practice, I was told, was really good yesterday.
Yes, it was perfect. From Stepan Nazarov, from Alexei Colophony, and Shan. That's show us today.
So how do you pronounce this guy's name? Fedor?
It's Fyodor Zhezhets.
Alright, we'll just say Fedor for the moment. So Fedor has a nice entry speed of 125.8 kilometers. Gets the last few outside zones quite well. What? Number 77 from Moscow.
He's one of the youngest pilot here on RDS, and also one of the oldest one.
So he drops down quite well in the first outside zone, gets outside zone 2 quite well, powers around, transfers, gets outside zone 3 quite good. A lot of angle here, a lot of commitment. He's on the CIAY Army from St. Petersburg as well. Transfers and powers out to the touch and go. Really nice run, a lot of commitment, a lot of smoke, and powers along the finish line. So yeah, it's Nissan S15 V8 Achilles tires, and he's from Moscow. So yeah, gets quite a good score overall, and 83 points. So he drops in the top 10. So now we got the fresh auto guys. Denis Mial.
Мигаль у нас давно выступает, Тимон? Я вот про Мигаля ничего не знаю. Да.
Ну, 2 года.
So Denis Mihal, nice snappy early entry, drops in, gets the first outside zone, whoa, drops into the dirt, and then drops in and hits the outside foam barriers. So could have been a bigger hit, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, it'll be no score from that.
His second year.
And where's Denis Mihal in the standings then?
So what he's 33.
Achilles tires, fresh auto. Can you tell me anything about the fresh auto team?
Actually not.
No, it's one of the biggest teams, it seems to be, in Russia. Teammates with Fedor, Vorobev, and they always have a big presence in the pits.
I know pilots, but
So yeah, very, very lucky, like his teammate, not to have a big crash. Fedor Vorobev in the last qualifying session dropped into the dirt, hit the barriers in the back, and then flipped around and hit the car in the front as well. So big crash. Denis Mihal lucky to get away with a small shunt there, and I think that's why the foam barriers are there. Was there any big crashes yesterday in practice?
no.
So no big crashes. And what was the weather like the last 2 days? It was wet one day here.
2 days.
2 days.
One close practice and yesterday. So
It was raining both days. Or on off.
from Saturday and Thursday.
So today we are in Atron Raceway. It's south of Moscow. It's about 2-3 hours. I just got here not too long ago, and it took about 5 hours because everyone decides to leave Moscow on a Saturday morning. I found out, so that was great fun. So advice: don't leave Moscow on a Saturday morning because everyone leaves Moscow. So yeah, it's so now we're gonna go on to Charles from Hong Kong. Super clean AMAL Racing S13. Nice early entry, runs a wide line. Foot to floor, really nice, deep in the wall, gets out of the second outside zone, transfers, gets to third outside zone really well. Powers to outside zone 4, powers out, gets to touch and go real nice, and gets across the finish line. Really nice run. Probably not as clean as Saito's, but like really nice flick. Transfers deep into the first outside zone. He's on the power here, runs wide against the wall. Again, not as deep as Saito, but not far off him either. A lot of angle. Transfers nice and clean, no bobbling, no wavering. Transfers again on the gas. Outside zone 4. Yeah, pretty clean again. Gets out to outside zone 4. Uses a good bit of angle here across the finish line. And just looking at the slow-mo now, seeing how deep he gets into the outside zone. Not as deep as Saito, but yeah, real nice. You can see him making adjustments to get to the outside zone 2. So yeah, that should be a pretty good run from Charles. Yeah, really nice run. So he's going to be high 80s. And he gets a 90, so it comes in a ranked 3rd. So Charles Ng coming all the way from Hong Kong. He's got a busy schedule this year. He's in Japan, China. He's doing some touring car racing in China as well. All mostly drifting, and then he's doing the RDS Championship. And then he's in the AMAL Oil Racing Team. Who else is in the AMAL Oil Racing Team?
He's
Saito.
in IMO China, IMO Racing Team. We have IMO Russia, Racing Russia, and Racing China.
Is it?
So different.
Oh, 2 different teams. I didn't notice that. So Alex Lavian, nice, really wide entry, gets really deep into the first outside zone, really deep in outside zone 2. He doesn't really care now, he's putting everything online. Really deep in outside zone 3, powers along now, a lot more aggressiveness in this run, a lot more angle, and powers across the finish line. Really nice run. Really nice run, really committed on the first outside zone, foot to floor, runs really deep here again. Yeah, really nice run. This is going to be up there with Saito. Transfers really well, really smooth. Outside zone 3 gets really good as well. Very committed, foot to floor, and he's smoking out Atron Raceway. Transfers again, a lot more pace and speed in the car this time. I think he's just not taking it easy like the first run. He wanted to put in a banker in the first run, and now he's been really committed. You can see how close he's getting to the wall, and that's a really high speed sector of the track. So this is going to be a really strong run. It'll be good to see what he gets now. So really high score. It's going to be 95 and ranks in at first as expected. So Alex Colophony steals P1. So the Ukrainian missile. So Vladimir Shan is up next. Can he improve on his first run? A really shaky first run, a lot of mistakes. He was shallow on the second clip, outside zones, and yeah, really struggled to pick it up from the first run. So will he be a lot more committed this time? Nice early entry. Gets into the outside zone 1. Could be deeper in zone 2. Transfers, no bobbles or wavering this time. Gets outside zone 3. Foot to floor here. Gets back into the infield. Runs wide onto the outside zone 3. Outside zone 4. Nearly goes off track and powers across the finish line. So he had an entry speed of 130 kilometers an hour, so it was pretty fast. So a pretty good run overall. Here he should have gone a bit deeper, but yeah, it's not too critical compared to a lot of drivers. It's still not a top 10 score, but a solid run. Powers back towards infield, and yeah, gets the last touch and go. Powers across the finish line. Nearly drops off track as he was carrying too much momentum. Just seeing here in the super slow-mo. Yeah, a good bit of space from to the wall. The 70s. Yeah, 72. So he drops in a 14. So a pretty good improvement. So how is drifting in St. Petersburg now? Is there a lot of drifters in St. Petersburg?
We don't have a track, unfortunately. So maybe next year.
Oh, there's the new F1 track.
Yes. So we are waiting.
Okay, Stefan Azarov up next. Stefan initiates in, nice and deep in the first outside zone. On the gas, comes off the wall way too early, actually misses. Very scrappy run, doesn't really get outside zone 2 or 3 that well. Gets outside zone 4 and then drops into the last touch and go. So you can see he was a bit too deep and committed on the after the first zone. We'll just look at the replay. Nice early initiation. Runs really wide here, but he gets on the gas too early, and he actually comes out from the line and misses outside zone 2. So he's going to get docked a lot of points there. Transfers here, he's kind of shaky enough, has to adjust to get into the outside zone 3. So missing, gets the box, but not that clean. Powers all the way out here, gets outside zone 4 quite good. Gets to that touch and go. And powers across the finish line. So 2 significant mistakes across that run won't really score quite well. So yeah, quite far off the wall there.
It's much faster than Moscow Raceway.
Да, слушай, звук, нет, звук в этом. Да. Да, окей.
Только не сильно.
So he drops in 83 points and rank 10. So if you can help me pronounce Fedor
Dzierzhic.
Alright, we won't pronounce this. Fedor Dzierzhic. The way I look, Dzierzhic. Nissan S15 V8 640 horsepower. Accelerates through the gearbox, transitions in, has a mechanical problem. Something obviously pretty wrong with the car. So CA is originally from St. Petersburg.
Yes.
Yeah, but he has a shop now in Moscow as well.
Of course.
And he clips a cone.
Big mistake.
So not sure if it was a drive shaft problem or gearbox problem, but yeah. He won't score any points for that run. So Atron Raceway, what was it? It was a rallycross circuit originally? Or a go-kart track?
Yes, for karting and rallycross.
So it's quite a compact circuit, but really good for spectators. And there's a hotel based here too. So most people staying with the event can actually stay here and wake up with the racetrack in the morning. So it's pretty cool.
It's like all inclusive.
Dennis Mihal, let's see if he can improve in his first run. He had a no score in his first run. Also, Fedor is coming back to his second run. What happened?
With Fedor, he's just stroke. I don't know actually what's wrong. I didn't hear Nikolai, so let's waiting.
So here we go, Federer, these heats. Gonna do a second run. Nice early initiation, runs quite well and deep into the first outside zone. Drops down to the second outside zone. Gets back in, gets third outside zone well. Using a lot of angle, a lot of commitment like his first run. Nearly goes off track. Gets the fourth outside zone quite good. Transfers well. Gets a touch and go. Nearly goes off track. So he won't get punished too much for that.
Hope so.
So is there CA Army Drift Team this year as well? Or just this guy?
Just this guy.
Is CA the most popular clothing in Russia now for drifting?
I think yes.
So super nice slow-mo. Dennis's car running super wide, doesn't hit the wall. What age did you say is he's quite young?
He's quite young. He's about 26. I don't remember.
Powers back through the infield. Dennis Mihal up next. Fresh Auto, BMW, Achilles tires. The overall championship, the point standing. There we go, Dennis Mihal ready to launch off the line. So yeah, it doesn't look super fast, but yeah, it's still top of third gear. Nice early initiation. Could be a bit deeper against the wall. Runs really shallow. Just about gets that for a second outside zone. Again, not that clean. Gets it to the third outside zone, but could be quite a bit better. Same thing with outside zone 4. He's getting the line on track, but could be a bit deeper. Entry speed 124 kilometers, which is a bit slower than normal. All the drivers aiming for about 130 plus. So yeah, he initiates into early, then comes off the first outside zone. So you can see he's like real shallow. Just about gets into the second outside zone. Transfers here, barely gets outside zone 3. Transfers back to inside zone, and yeah, barely gets outside zone 4. So going with the judges, it's not the cleanest of runs. Could have been a bit deeper in the zones, but yeah, I think he's happy to put any score after nearly having a big crash in his first run. So pretty solid run to see if it gets him in the top 10, and 82 gets him ranked 12, so just outside the top 10. Yeah, it shows you can do the perfect line, but you really need to be deep in the line and have a really smooth run, carrying quite a bit of angle. So Charles is currently ranked 4th, so let's see if he can improve on his first run. Nice snappy early initiation. Gets the first outside zone real well. Nice, gets the second outside zone. Really smooth run. Perfectly getting into the outside zones. Gets outside zone 4 real nice. Drops down, gets the touch and go, and then powers across the finish line. Not as much impact as Alex Vladimir or Saito, but really nice line. Probably maybe one of the best entries. Not as deep as Glavny in the first outside zone. Powers all the way around. Gets the second outside zone real nice. Powers back towards the infield. And gets next to outside zones real nice. Could be used a bit more angle, but he's still carrying a lot of speed compared to other drivers. So Charles Ng is in the Amol Racing China LSX. Let's see what score he drops in at. 90, same, so he's ranked third. So yeah, Saito, Glavnia and Charles Ng, or Glavnia, Saito and Charles Ng are now the top three.
Not now, Alexei on the first place now.
So yeah, Charles had some problems after the first run. He had running issues, and he sent the car off the Gasha Turbotech in Moscow, and it just came back from tuning. So here we have Tetsuya Hibino, D1 legend in the fresh auto Toyota Supra. He was really getting used to this car in the first event. See if we see a bit more flashes of his brilliance. That's so the XD1 legend. Nice early entry. Enters a bit too early, so totally misses that second outside zone. Transfers back in, gets his third outside zone quite good. Drops down, misses outside zone 4, could be a bit deeper. Gets a touch and go. So okay run. It won't be strong enough to get him in the top 10. I think a lot of the problem we can see here on entry, he enters too early and gets a small piece of the entry box, and then he runs super shallow here. Yes, he has angle, but totally misses this second outside clip, and the first 2 outside zones are accounting for a lot of the majority of the points of the line. The next 2 outside zones are quite easy for the drivers, so they're not awarded as many points. Yeah, again, doesn't really drop into the 4th outside zone. Gets a touch and go. Runs really wide here, nearly off track. Powers across the finish line. So yeah, he's missing 50% of the line, so has a lot of angle. So you would expect a bit more of a cleaner run from the D1 legend.
Yesterday he has some mechanical problems, so...
Yeah, so from what I understand in my limited Japanese English of trying to talk to him, because he doesn't speak any English and no one speaks Japanese, he doesn't really hang around with Saito. He's just on his own, so, and we try and talk to him. On his limited Japanese English translation, he says, yeah, the car is 50-50. So he's still getting used to it. So it must be strange for him. He must have to try and speak to some of the organisers in English, and then his team is Russian, probably with no English. It must be super hard. I don't know how you can come to Russia with Japanese and no, at least English just to get by. Okay, transfer in, super nice early entry. Goes really wide, but you can see, again, the problem here is people are diving in, getting that first outside zone, missed the second zone. He gets in these, I'll expect to get him to get these 2 last outside zones quite good. Powers gets a touch and go. Powers across the finish line. So he has the highest entry speed there with 141 kilometers. Really nice entry, but he enters in too early, gets on the gas too early because he's trying to avoid a mistake, and he totally misses this second outside clip. And when you miss that, it's a huge points loss. So even his brother could probably score higher than him here. These first 2, he gets these 2 last outside zones quite easy. All the drivers are getting them. Gets the outside zone, and then Powers across the finish line. So yeah, you can see here he totally misses that second outside zone, and I'm not sure how much of the points for line it accounts for, but yeah, it will heavily affect him. So yeah, he drops down 17 on line. For 34 in style, he gets a lot of points. So he gets 77. So yeah, he's outside the top 10. So he's ranked in 14th. Arcadius. Arcadius had a really tricky first event. He had mechanical problems and he didn't qualify at all even. And a lot of people were expecting him to be up there winning. So let's see if he can bounce back and make a mark now. Nice. Nice and deep into the first outside zone. Misses the second outside zone. Gets the third outside zone quite good. Back on the power, gets the fourth outside zone, transfers it. Gets touch and go and powers across the finish line. So yeah, not a real clean textbook run. Again, they're kind of initiating too early and getting on the gas too early. And when they get on the gas, they're totally missing this second outside zone. So again, like Gotcha, I would expect he's going to get punished for points on line. Transfers out, gets these last two outside zones quite good. A lot of angle, a lot of speed, a lot of smoke, so you can see he's real committed. So these guys, maybe they're just looking to bank a safe run, but yeah. Not what he expected. Yeah, so what I'm told, he's detuning the car this season. It was 1200 horsepower, it's like now 900. R35 engine, VR38.
What sound?
So he drops him with 83 points and ranked 12, so gets him in the main show, but yeah, not strong enough to get him in the top 10. Nikita Shikov, see what he can do. Nikita Shikov from Moscow in the Toyota Team Russia GT86 Viper racing tires, 3.4 litre 2JZ GT86. See what he can do. He actually had a big crash here last year, didn't he? His car went on fire actually, so bit better run from Nikita. Get the last two outside zones quite well. Powers across the finish line.
He was quite good yesterday, but
yeah, from what I remember last year, he had a huge crash. So he gets the first outside zone quite deep, gets on the gas, runs wide, just about gets the second outside zone. Could have been a bit deeper. Transfers quite good, snappy. Gets the third outside zone. Back on the power, powering back towards the infield. Gets the fourth outside zone, and then back out to the touch and go, and then powers across the finish line. So pretty good run overall. But yeah, again, it could have been a bit deeper in outside zone 2. Yeah, so from what I remember last year, he was initiating, hit the wall, went straight on, spun the car around, and the car went up on fire.
yeah.
And then this car was out for last season. So yeah, we'll see. He probably doesn't want to push as hard this year.
But he's twice it's a champion
Of RDS.
Russian Drift series, yes, but it was in 2010, maybe in 13. I don't see number 8.
Andrei Astapov, Yekaterinburg. So where is Yekaterinburg? How far away is that?
It's south. It's not far from Siberia.
So a long way away. So he drops in with 83 points and ranked 13. So yeah, he's around where Gotcha and Arcadius is. Same kind of points. Ekaterinburg. IS 200, 2JZ, 500 horsepower, good ridge tires. Runs wide, quite good entry. Back on the power, totally misses that second outside clip. Powers back towards infleet, gets outside zone 3. Back on the gas, powers all the way, gets outside zone 4. Gets the touch and go. Nearly goes off track and powers across the finish line. Entry speed 120 kilometers an hour, so a bit slower than normal. So yeah, it's doing what the judges wanted, but this car doesn't seem to move as fast as the others. Misses the second outside zone, which will heavily deduct him a lot of points. Drops back in. Gets outside zone outside zone 3 quite good. Gets outside zone 4. Just doesn't seem to be snappy and flowing as the other drivers, so we'll see what he does in points. Yeah, so the last few drivers have been really struggling to get the outside zone 2. Outside zone 1 and 2 are the most important on the circuit, because if you don't get those, you don't flow to and get the rest of the circuit, and they're the most highly committed parts of the circuit. So yeah, a lot of guys who do not get these are just finding themselves right outside the top 10. Andreas above, yeah, you can see he's losing a good amount of points online. Drops down to 18th with 74 points. We got Tetsuo Hubino on the second run. Can he improve? Nice initiation. Gets on the gas. Again, misses that second outside zone. Transfers. Gets outside zone 3, but actually goes over the line. Gets back on the gas. Powers across the outside zone 4. Gets a touch and go. Runs super wide. Nearly going off track. And gets across the finish line. Drops down, back on the gas. Yeah, totally missing that second outside zone, so and yeah, nearly going off track there, so he's going to get heavily deducted for points. So yeah, the Fresh Auto team seem to be struggling today. Fedor Vorobev had a big crash. Denis Mihal did a pretty good run, but got outside the top 10. So I'm expecting this to probably be 15th to 20th position. Jeez, look how close the racing drone is getting. It's nearly hitting the car. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, he did a bit better online than his first run, so he should improve. So he gets the 14th, so 82 points.
We have some news about Kristaps Blush. He have technical problems, so we won't see him on the second stage here.
Alright, so yeah, just got some news. Christoph Blues may be out of the competition. He has some technical problems with the car, and he's got quite a specialised engine, so something like that is probably hard to get here. Arcadius, nice early entry, runs quite deep, gets second outside zone, a lot more committed this time, transfers, gets outside zone 3. This is a really aggressive run, really snappy, back on the gas, gets outside zone 4, gets outside zone, the last touch and go, powers across the finish line. Super nice run. So let's look at that on the replay. Definitely a top 5 run. Really nice early entry. Runs it as wide as Vladimir. Gets back on the gas. Could be a bit deeper on outside zone 4, but he's really back on the gas early. Lot of angle, lot of commitment. Getting perfectly into the zones. Transfer is quite good here. Even moving around a big R34 skyline. Gets outside zone 4 real nice. Gets touch and go. Gets back on the gas hard. You can hear that VR38 screaming. So yeah, really nice run. Let's see this super slow-mo, how far he gets into outside zone 4. Yeah, he's not getting as deep as Saito, Charles, Ing or Glavnia. So, but it's up there on the initiation and outside zone. It's going to be like top 4, I think. Top 5. And it's ranked 3. So yeah, 91 points. Nice improvement there by Cardius. So let's see what Gotcha can do. Gotcha needs to really pull this out of the bag now. Need some coffee.
We both need some coffee.
Here we go. Gotcha to Shan. Nice early initiation. Gets back on the gas a bit too early, but does he run wide? Gets it nice and deep in outside zone 2. Transfers, gets to outside zone 3, quite good. Back on the gas, runs wide. Could have been a bit deeper in outside zone 4. Just about gets a touch and go. Whoa, nearly goes off track. So not a great entry, not a great ending to the run. 137 kilometers an hour entry, so super fast. Really nice entry. He kind of nearly got on the gas too early. A lot of drivers are floating it wider, but he gets outside zone 2 quite good. Transfers here. Maybe it stalls a bit. Could have been a bit deeper in outside zone 3. Back on the gas. Powers through here. He wasn't really that deep in outside zone 4. Gets back on the gas, and now here there was a big mistake, so it depends what way the judges will see. He drifted across the finish line, but did he straighten? That's a big question mark. What? A lot more committed here than his first run. So I don't think they'll score him a 0, but they probably won't probably might not be as much improvement on his first run, because they'll take a lot of points off him for the going across the finish line. But the first 2 corners run was super committed, a lot better than the first run. So yeah, maybe he might just gets just about outside the top 10. Would have been a top 10 run bar the mistake of the final corner. So yeah, judges deliberating this one. They want to have a replay. So yeah, it's really nice through here. Gets back on the gas. Runs it all in outside zone 2. Transfers back towards infield. Gets outside zone 3, but could have been a bit deeper. Here, this is the problem area now. He misses outside zone 4, but it's not as value in points as much as... So... a driver of his caliber would be expected to get these. Touch and go, barely gets, and here he runs super wide. So he still continues to drift. He doesn't lose the angle. He didn't straighten. And he's straightened just after the line, so I think he should just about get away with that. Oh, run 2 gets a 0. So yeah, ranked 16th, not a great position for Gotcha, but he always comes into himself in the battles. It's kind of strange, he doesn't qualify that well, but he always, in the battles, is super good. Nikita Shikov. Nice early initiation. Whoa! Oh, nearly throws it off the track. He's getting memories of last season. It looked like a nice run, and he just ran it a bit too wide, hit the marbles, and went onto dirt. So yeah, he tried to get the wider line, then he had a tiny bit of understeer, and he went wide to the marbles, went onto the grass, and it was nearly game over, so he's very lucky. Yeah, he just went onto the marbles, and then that sent him onto the dirt, and then it was nearly yard sale time. Very, very lucky.
But looks beautiful.
Looks graceful, spinning in slow-mo. So how many more groups do we have to run?
We have 4 groups, so I think it's last one.
So one more group after this to go.
Yep.
Andrei Astapov. So can he improve in his run? Nice early entry, runs super wide. Oh, big mistake. He runs super wide, nearly hit the wall, and then he had to come off getting outside zone 2. Again, very sloppy through the infield, gets outside zone 3, but way off the mark. Gets outside zone 4, gets a touch and go, powers across the finish line, but yeah, very sloppy run otherwise. See here, he initiates quite good, nearly too much angle, gets on the gas, but the car floats out, nearly goes across the white line, and he has to get back onto the gas to avoid hitting the wall. That means he misses outside zone 2, transfers, gets outside zone 3 quite good, gets back towards the infield, back on the gas, powers across outside zone 4, and then powers across the finish line. Quite okay run, but like laden mistakes from outside zone 2 to 3, so yeah, he's going to get punished quite a few marks for not abiding to the line, the judged line. Now we have our last group coming up. See what Andrei Astapov drops in at, probably 66, so just 18th. Gleb Shab from Omsk. Where's Omsk?
It's also Siberia.
Siberia, so it's just far away.
No, it's about 7 hours by plane.
7 hours by plane.
Yep.
It's crazy. It takes me 4 hours by plane to get here. It's easier for me to fly home than go to Omsk. It's crazy. Nice initiation. Runs wide. Gets back on the power. Gets outside zone 2 quite well. Gets outside zone 3. Lot of gas. Pretty committed. 1 JZ powered. Toyota Chaser. G Energy. Powers across the finish line. And G Energy. Toyota Soarer. Yeah, it drops down quite good. For such a big car, he's getting around quite good. Pretty nice line. Gets on the gas. Runs it deep. Could be in a bit deeper in outside zone 2. Transfers back towards infield. Back on the gas. Gets outside zone 3. Powers back towards infield. Gets outside zone 4. Then transfers back towards over the finish line. Gets the touch and go. So Omsk, it's how many hours flight? 6 hours flight.
About.
Yeah,
about
so I
6
thought it was
hours.
5-6 hours flight from here. I'm only 4 hours. So you could fly to Ireland and then fly some a bit across the Atlantic to America. It's crazy because Moscow. Yeah, so Moscow is halfway for me. Well, it's not halfway. I'm only.
Also, Krasnoyarsk is about 5 hours by plane, so it's.
So
quite
Omsk is further
far.
than Krasnoyarsk.
Yep.
Jeez, that's crazy. So for me, Moscow, when I get to Moscow, I'm halfway to Krasnoyarsk.
Ah,
And Krasnoyarsk is the middle of Russia. Okay, here we go. Sergei Sak from Belarus. Nice initiation. Really shallow line. Totally misses the outside zone. Transfers back towards infield. Gets outside zone 3. Powering back towards infield. Misses outside zone 4. Gets a touch and go. Powers across the finish line. Quite okay run. Bit scrappy in parts. Gets this outside zone 1 quite good, but he's initiating too early. Drops the wheel over the white line, so he's in the totally wrong position of the track. Misses outside zone 2. Transfers back in here. Gets outside zone 3 okay. Bit of angle, bit of smoke. Pretty committed from the Belarus drift champion. Gets back, misses outside zone 4, so he's going to miss quite a bit of points with 2 outside zones being missed. Gets a touch and go. It runs really wide here. He gets outside zone 4, but he's only putting 1 wheel in it, and not the cleanest of runs. Sergei Sak in the G Drive oil BMW E46, 2JZ powered. Probably land him inside the top 15. Gets ranked 18 with 75 points in his first run. From Minsk on Trias tires, 600 horsepower, 2JZ powered BMW E46. Daniel Merkel, is that how you pronounce it?
Merkel.
Merkel.
I think it's German. It's not. Sounds like German.
He's from Ekaterinburg as well. Westlake tires, 780 horsepower, 2JZ powered chaser. Big mistake here. Runs his wheels over the white line, so he's going to get docked a lot of marks. Totally misses that outside zone 2. Misses outside zone 3. Really scrappy run so far. Misses outside zone 4. Gets touch and go. Powers across the finish line. So yeah, really slow entry. Well, I wouldn't say really slow entry. Not the fastest of entries. So initiate it inside the box. So it's not really going to be the highest of scores. We'll see if the judges, was he off track as well? He drops 1 wheel. Definitely off track. So Ekaterinburg, is that like north of here or south? So far away.
Yeah.
There's nothing as close in Russia. So how many days driving does it take to get him here?
Maybe 4 hours.
Flying?
Yeah.
Oh, flying, yeah. So there's 4 hours flying. So he's the same distance away as I am away from.
So it's like our judge, Dmitry. He's from Vladivostok, and it's he gets here about 10 hours by plane.
10 hours flying.
10 hours flights.
So he used to fly to Krasnoyarsk and then to Moscow, or is there a direct flight?
I don't remember from, but he has
10 hours from Moscow, that's insane.
Novosibirsk. So Vladivostok, Novosibirsk, Moscow, 9 hours.
Total flying.
Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, not really strong on it. So could you say I am closer to the Moscow than most people in Russia?
Yes.
That is pretty crazy, like. Magomed Amarov.
Magomed Amarov.
You have a strange fascination with Toyota as Teslas. V8 powered. Misses that second outside zone. Scrappy enough run so far. Transfers back towards infield. Barely gets outside zone 4. Gets touch and go. And powers across the finish line. Gets initiation. Could be a bit deeper. It's back on the gas. Misses outside zone 2 totally. Transfers back towards infield. Scrappy enough, he's bobbling and straightening. Transfers towards the infield. Powers back over outside zone 4. Gets a touch and go. Powers across the finish line. Magomed Amarov. So let's see if he gets in the top 20. 62 points, so he gets 23rd position. So, Damir, how do you pronounce this guy's second name?
Idiatulin.
Idiatulin.
Damir Idiatulin.
Damir was the big surprise in Moscow Raceway. He came third. Yeah, third. Yeah, he was super surprised to beat Kristaps Blues in the semi-final. Very impressive driver. Nice early entry. Runs it deep into first outside zone. Back on the power. Really nice. Drops it down to the second outside zone. Gets third outside zone. Real nice and clean. Back on the gas. Runs wide. Gets the fourth outside zone. Gets a touch and go. Powers across the finish line. I had heard of this driver last year, but like in Moscow Raceway, he was very impressive. Sees entry, nice entry. Back on the power, runs mid line, not too deep, not too shallow. Gets the second outside line quite good.
He also was the winner of qualification a few years ago here on Atron.
Oh, so he likes Atron. So he gets outside zone 3, gets to outside zone 4 pretty good. Gets a touch and go and powers across. So he's from Krasnoyarsk. Why is there so many drifters from Krasnoyarsk?
So it's Gocha, Damir, and Arkady.
So yeah, Siberia drifting is strong, is it?
Yes.
Another guy in the fresh auto team. So yeah, quite a strong run. That'll definitely land him in the top 5. And I gets him in third, so he knocks up Arkadius. So number 19, Nikita Fetisov. He's quite young. He's the youngest. Krasnodar then is south of Moscow.
Yeah.
Two JZ powered Nissan S13 Viper tires. Nice line so far. Misses that second outside zone, so he's going to get punished on points quite a bit. Misses the third outside zone. So let's see if he can get some more points back. Barely gets outside zone 4. Really scrappy run so far. Gets the touch and go. Powers across the finish line. So yeah, not the cleanest of runs. It's a 500 horsepower, 2JZ powered Nissan S13. Gets the first outside zone here. It looked like he was on a good line and he kind of came off the wall too early. Wasn't that committed, so he's going to lose a lot of points. Transfers in here, misses this zone as well. So the next two zones are not awarding points that much, but you need to be getting them to get any good scores. See, he's making a lot of corrections inside the cockpit. Gets a touch and go here, runs really wide here. A lot of drivers who run wide here nearly have gone off track like Gotcha. So yeah, won't be the strongest of scores. So probably gets him out inside top 25, 24th. So just going on to the final run of our last group. Gleb Shab from Omsk, which is just far away. That's all you need to know. I live closer to Moscow than he does. So Gleb Shab in a 500 horsepower Toyota Chaser had a really good first run. Nice. Gets to the second outside zone. Transfers back in, gets the third outside zone. Powers back on the gas. Gets the fourth outside zone. Gets a touch and go, powers across the finish line. So pretty nice run. Yeah, pretty strong run. He had a really good, strong first run as well. So let's see where he drops in at.
Also, we
Quite.
are waiting for
83 points, so it drops in at rank 13. So quite a good score.
Evgeny Ruzhenikov. So we didn't see him. I hope
Sergei
get a
Sak,
chance.
the Belarus champion. Let's see what he can do. He had a scrappy enough first run. Could have been a lot cleaner, but let's see now. He's put a solid run in, so now he can really take a chance with this run. Drops a nice initiation. Gets the first outside zone quite good. Again, really missing that second outside zone. Powers back towards infield. Gets outside zone 3. A lot of angle, a lot of smoke, a lot of commitment. Gets outside zone 4 quite good. Transfers back out. Runs very deep on a touch and go. And powers across the finish line. Again, really nice run, but the main problem area being outside zone 2. Nice early initiation. Gets back on the power a bit too early. He needed to wash out wide here and get outside zone 2, which he just did not get. So that is one of the main parts of the line they're really looking for people to go into. Gets the next two outside zones quite good. Powers all the way around. Gets a touch and go and powers across the finish line. So quite a good run, a big improvement from his last run.
Some problems.
Sergei Sak drops in 81 points and drops in at 18, so yeah, quite a good improvement of his first run. Daniel Merkels, let's see if he can improve. Very scrappy first corner. Struggling to get the line. Transfers out. Get outside zone 3. Back out to outside zone 4. So yeah, gets the last 2 zones, but very, very scrappy run. I think he's a newer driver, Daniel Merkel. Yeah, so very shaky, bobbling in between outside zone 1 and 2. Doesn't get outside zone 2. Transfers back in here. Misses outside zone 3. Just about gets outside zone 4. Misses the touch and go, and then powers across the finish line. So yeah, one of the lowest scores today. Quite a low entry speed as well. So let's see what the judges award him. Zach with the commentary. Can you just hit the turn up the volume? Does this go to TV truck?
This one, yes.
This
This it's with.
truck.
No. You want.
You need to tell Timothy to turn up the volume on English because it's someone. Okay, here we go down now to the last 2 qualifiers. Magomed Amarov from Moscow. Let's see if he can improve on his first run. He's ranked 25, 62 points. Wasn't really the strongest first run. So let's see what he can do now.
Just a second.
Quite dry day here today in Atron Raceway, just south of Moscow. We're 3 hours south of Moscow, so they have mixed conditions last 2 days. But yeah, luckily today for qualifying top 32, it's going to be a dry day. So nice, a lot of speed, a lot of commitment, but barely gets outside zone 1. Drops into outside zone 2. Could have been a bit deeper. Comes back in towards the inside zone. Gets outside zone 3. Powers back out to outside zone 4 and around. Gets a touch and go, washes very wide, whoa, goes off track, nearly spins. So Smagov, he's making a lot of corrections between outside zone 1 and 2, back on the gas, transitions here. You can see a lot of bobbling and wavering from this car. Powers back around. Gets outside zone 4 now here, and I think he just carries way too much speed. Goes wide towards the touch and go, washes super wide, tries to get back on the gas, and it's too late. Gets back on the grass. So let's see what the judges award for that. Will it be a 0 or will? So scrappy enough run from Magomed. Is that the correct pronunciation? Magomed Amarov, is that the correct pronunciation?
Magomed Amarov.
Yeah.
Magomed Amarov.
So here we go, Vladimir for his second run now. Can he improve? Here we go, Damer number 78 from Krasnoyarsk. Really good run. The first run he came in 3rd, so he's sitting in a strong position. Can he really put it on the line and improve? He comes off a 3rd in the first event of the year, so yeah, I'm sure he's looking to try and improve his point standing in the fresh auto Toyota Altezza.
You can just see the outside of the track. It's a rallycross track and a go-kart track, and now it's a modified drift track. So yeah, he got punished online, and he gets a 47 for his second run, so ranks him in at 25. So here we go, waiting for Magomed Amarov to be pushed off track. Number 78. Damir Idi, how do you pronounce it? Iditulin. Damir Iditulin.
Damir Idiatulin.
Idiatulin. Here we go. Damir launches off the line for a second run. Expecting big things now. Nice initiation. Nice line so far. Nice and deep into outside zone 2. Powers back towards the infield. Runs nice to outside zone 3. Powers back all the way around. Nice outside line to outside zone 4. Gets a touch and go. A lot of smoke. Nice line across the finish line. Solid line. Was it as good as his first run? I'm not so sure, but really nice. A lot of angle on entry. Power straight through outside zone 1 to 2, quite good. It could have been a bit deeper in outside zone 2. Powers back towards infield. Transfers quite well. Gets out to outside zone 3, quite good. Good bit of speed, angle and commitment through here. Powers back out on the gas. Gets to outside zone 4. Transfers back out, gets a touch and go, and yeah, let's see how deep he gets into outside zone 2. Yeah, not as deep as Saito or Glavnia, but still pretty good. He's still in the top 4. His first qualifying run was 3rd, so yeah, this should he's still in a safe position being 3rd overall. I don't think it's as good as his first run, so let's see where this drops in. Pretty high score, it's probably in the 80s. Oh, he improves. It's 94, and he gets to rank 2. So judges like that one.
No.
What do you have to say about that, Sushi? We can't pronounce Sushi's Sushnini. Sushnini, so we just call her Sushi. That's what the Americans call her, so we all call the translator Sushi. Easier. So here we go, Nikita Fetisov. And not sure, it looks like a mechanical issue. Or did he clip a cone? It looks like he might have clipped the cone. Yeah, red flags are out. Yeah, his back right tire, red flag goes up. Must say the flag guys are on it.
It was a red flags.
Yeah, so will he get a rerun of that? So we have... Yeah, looks like he'll get a rerun of that. Is the car coming back around? We got Evgeny Losev coming up next. He is a big guy. He's a big dude.
Really big guy.
So he's from Irkutsk. Where is Irkutsk?
Irkutsk.
Yeah.
It's also Siberia.
South Siberia. Again, far away.
Oh.
So if they were driving here, it would take like a week or two, would it? If it takes them 5-6 hours to fly here,
It's about one day.
driving.
One day.
Yeah. Yeah, so here we go. Nikita Fetisov lines up for a second run. Lights go green. Let's see if he takes it a bit easier this time. A bit more careful on the cones. No red flags this time. Gets it the first inside zone quite good. Drops a wheel over the white line. Gets outside zone 2. Drops really wide. Nearly drops off track. Really scrappy run so far. Misses outside zone 3. Misses, just about gets outside zone 4. Gets touch and go and then powers across the finish line. Pretty low entry speed as well, 112 kilometers an hour. Not the strongest and committed of entries, kind of entering into the box. Drops a wheel over the inside line, which the judges don't want to see. Got the outside zone 2, but you can see here he runs way too wide. Gets on the marbles, then has to drop back. Powers back towards the infield. Misses outside zone 3. Transfers back in. Powers back out. Gets outside zone 4. Not too bad. So yeah, he'll be punished a lot of marks for. He's not really that committed on entry. He got outside zone 2, but really washed out in outside zone 3. So the car is just being weighed after they come off the finish line. Just checking they all conform to rules and regulations. Yeah, this must be the final group. Yeah, because everyone else is driven. Yeah. So Evgeny Losev, the big dude from Irkutsk, he's a big guy. And he's driving a big car, a Toyota Chaser. 3.4 litre, 2JZ powered, 850 horsepower. This is a pretty cool car. Really aggressive driver. Nice snappy initiation, a lot of power in this car. Runs wide, could have been a bit deeper in corner outside zone 2. Gets outside zone 3, lot of angle, lot of commitment. Back on the gas. Gets outside zone 4. Runs out wide, gets a touch and go, powers across the finish line. The Monster Energy Chaser fail crew. Nice initiation on the gas, a lot of smoke, a lot of commitment. Could have been a bit deeper in outside zone 2. Powers back towards the infield. Could have been a bit deeper in outside zone 3. Nice snappy quick transition. Gets outside zone and powers back around. So a lot of these guys looking to have safe banked first runs. So yeah, real nice run. So it'll probably get him in the top 10. He could have been a bit cleaner on the line. So let's see what drops in. Pretty high scores in the 80s. And it's 86, drops in at 8th position. So the Monster Energy fail crew striking back with Arcadius and Losev in the top 10. So this is a new car. I don't think I've seen this last one. Ivan Nikulin. A V8 LS7, Nissan S14. Nice, powers back towards infield, getting a lot of zones, misses that last outside zone 4.
It's a rental car.
Yeah. So yeah, he could have been a bit better in the initiation, didn't have that much angle, gets back on the gas here, gets outside zone 2, quite good. Transitions, goes back, gets outside zone 3, quite good. Could be on a bit more angle, misses outside zone 4. Scrubs off, loses a lot of speed here, gets the touch and go. Kind of bit of a correction there, nearly went off track, and it goes across the finish line. Not the cleanest of runs, so let's see what way that gets scored up. Number 55, Evgeny Ruzhenikov, two-time RDS champion from Moscow. Toyota's Gorilla Energy Nissan S15 supercharged V8. Yevgeny Ruzhenikov. Am I getting it better? Big guy. Two-time RDS champion. There's China film.
Yeah.
That's China filming guy. He's definitely not from China though.
But he usually looks like
Yeah.
he's just woke up.
Yeah. Because I met him in Krasnoyarsk. Oh, you're the China filming guy.
Yeah. Very kind guy.
Yeah, super nice guy. Real nice footage. So here we go. Evgeny Ruzhenikov. Did he clip a cone? Oh, red flags are up. Must say these red flag guys in Russia are on it like. In Europe they'd be asleep. I am operating on maybe like 2 hours sleep, so forgive me if I'm still missing some things. So my lesson of today is to not leave Moscow on a Saturday morning because you'll be stuck in traffic the whole way here. I did not realize everyone leaves Moscow on Saturday morning. Crazy traffic. So number 9 is Ekaterina. Ekaterina Sidhu from Vladivostok. Oh, so she's really far away. So here we go. Evgeny Ruzhenikov is going to line up for his second run now, or his first run, because he clipped the cone. So what happens if there's 2 red flags, 0 scores it?
think so. Let's see. Now he has one more chance.
So third and final time. Let's cross our fingers that he does not hit any cones this time. Evgeny Yurgenikov from Moscow, V8 powered Nissan S15. He was qualified quite good in Moscow Raceway, but I think he went out in the top 32.
He had some problem.
Oh yeah, he had some problem. Yeah.
Once again.
Oh, cone free. Cone free this time.
So let's see.
Nice early initiation. Back on the power. Nice line. Runs it nice and deep into outside zone 2. Misses outside zone 3 quite a bit. Powers back around. Gets out to outside zone 4 now. Will he get the touch and go? Misses touch and go, I think. Powers across the finish line. Quite a good run, but he misses 2 outside zones, so we'll see how that reflects in the score. Nice early initiation, runs quite wide. Nice line here. It's mid to outside line. Gets the outside zone here. Could have been a bit deeper, but compared to the majority of people, quite strong run. Misses outside zone 3. Transfers back out now. Back on the gas. A lot of angle to outside zone 4. And here he maybe just about gets a touch and go. Powers across the finish line. Nice and deep into outside zone 2.
Not so good.
Drops in at 20 to 78 points. So would you say she travels from the furthest place?
Yeah.
She's furthest away. So you think it's 10 hours to fly here?
With her husband, he's also drift pilot.
Is he competing? Nice and deep into first outside zone 1. Could have been a bit deeper, but pretty good run. Misses outside zone 2. Transfers back in. Gets outside zone 3. Back on the gas. Powers all the way out to outside zone 4. Gets touch and go. Powers across the finish line. Entry speed is quite good at 124 kilometers an hour. Quite good on outside zone 1, but here there was a bit of a bobble and mistake. Misses outside zone 2. Powers back towards the infield. Just about gets outside zone 3. Running quite wide. Nice snappy transition. Gets outside zone 4. Could have been a bit deeper. Gets a touch and go. Quite good. And then powers across the finish line. Quite good run overall. Solid, not a top 10 run. She will get heavily punished for this because she's quite not as deep into outside zone 2. Nice, you can see the wastegate flames coming off.
transmission.
Yeah, so she suffered a bit online, but got quite good in style. Evgeny Losev. He's got the biggest car in the grid and he doesn't hit any cones then. Nice attack early initiation, runs it quite wide. Not a great line here, totally misses the second outside zone. Gets the third outside zone. From here on in, it's quite easy. It's not even much of a conversation for Losev. He does it all quite well. Misses touch and go as well, so very, very scrappy run. He's kind of lucky he has a good, solid top 10 qualifying run already, but here he had a real nice entry, but got on the gas too early. When you get on the gas too early, it brings you in to the inside of the corner, and he totally missed outside zones. So, yeah, they need to be a lot more committed. Gets the third outside zone, transitions in, not very deep in the outside zone 4, and totally misses touch and go. So quite a poor run. Won't score that high on line, and you can see he's way offline, not even near the outside zone. Barnaul, where is Barnaul?
It's West Siberia.
West Siberia.
It's a very, very beautiful place.
Ivan Nikulin. Did he have a Mazda RX-8 before? This guy. Did he have a RX-8 or RX-7?
No.
Did he hit a cone?
It's rental cars, so it's not quite good.
So Alex Colophony leading the standings. Damer 94 points, Dagosida 93, Arkadius 91, Charles Ing 90 points, Ilya Fedorov 90 points, Fedor these hits 80, and Evgeny Losev 86. So you've got a strong top 8 there already. One of the big missing points is Gotcha Shan, who's just outside top 12 at the moment. But yeah, a lot of strong names there in top 8. Andrei Pezagov from Moscow 85 points. Fedor Vorbev had a huge crash, he's on 85 points. Evgeny Gergov 85 points. Anton Sarvanansky 84 points. Dmitry Negulia from Belarus and runs at top 16. Here we go, Ivan Nikulin doing his second run. No issues this time, gets the first outside zone quite strong. Back on the gas, gets the second outside zone. Transfers back in, gets the third outside zone. Drops down into outside zone quite good. Powers back around. Outside zone 2, quite good again. On the wall, transfers back in. Outside zone 3. Could have been a bit deeper. Gets back on the gas. Transfers back around. Gets back on the gas. Barely gets outside zone 4. And it goes for a touch and go. Middle of the road run. Could have been a bit deeper in some zones. But yeah, he still got it quite good into outside zone 2. So maybe he might surprise us with a top 15 score. Let's hope Evgeny Ryazan does not hit any cones this time.
I hope so.
So yeah, quite a strong run from Ivan Nikulin. Ranked 22 at 76 points. Evgeny Ryazan really needs to improve on this run. Not such a good first run, but he really needs to put down a good strong run now to improve his place in the standings. Nice initiation, nice and deep in the outside zone. Runs nice and deep into second outside zone, really nice so far. Transfers, gets the third outside zone, real nice as well. Powers back around, gets the fourth outside zone, real nice too. Gets the touch and go, powers across the finish line, really nice run. Not huge impact an angle, but he did the line really well. Nice initiation here. A bit of a bobble mid corner, you can see the front wheels wavering. Gets the second outside zone really deep on that wall. Cuts back in, transfers here real nice. Gets outside zone 3 real nice. Transfers back around, gets back on the gas, aims for that outside zone 4. Really deep, transfers, gets touch and go, nice and quick here, powers back over the finish line. Really nice run. So I would say easily in the top 10 now. Really strong run.
Almost on the wall.
84, so just as is in 13th position, so even a strong run like that isn't good enough for top 10. So yeah, some really good runs here today at Atron Raceway, the last qualifier we have here. So just about to round off qualifying at the Atron Raceway south of Moscow. Nice and clean through the cones, no. Nice fast initiation of quite far. Yes, 128 kilometers an hour entry speed, but huge bobble. Outside zone 2 there, gets outside zone 3. Nice snappy through here, gets the outside zone 4. She could have been a bit deeper on. Gets a touch and go, powers across the finish line. But yeah, if you're just going to look on the replay, she had a really big mistake here. Really nice entry, really nice line, but comes on the gas way too early because avoiding hitting the wall. So she totally missed outside zone 2. So will get docked a lot of points. Gets outside zone 3. Really nice line through here. Nice snappy initiation. Back on the gas. Runs outside zone 4. Could have been a bit deeper. Gets a touch and go and goes across the finish line. So in comparison to Evgeny Ryazanikov's probably in top 20, but there will be a big loss of points for this area here in outside zone 2. And you can see a lot of corrections inside the cabin of the car. So next up is top 32. So we're just going to see the scores dropping. Yeah, she got heavily deducted online. Drops in at 22 with 66 points. So we're just qualifying by groups. It just finished now at just after 1:30. Drivers briefing, preparation for the parade. There's an opening ceremony from 3 to 3:45. Autograph session from 3:45 to 4:45, and then we're back on track from 5 p.m. local time. So we're 2 hours plus Europe. So Central European time, this is 4 p.m. and UK and Ireland is 3 o'clock. So same thing for West Coast America, it's minus 10 hours. So yeah, in 3 hours time we'll be kicking off top 32. So just going back over the standings, Colophony takes out P1 95 points, Damer 94 points, Daigo Saito 93 points, Arkadius 91 points, Charles Eng 90 points, Ilya Fedorov, Amal team 90 points, Fedor, These Hits 88 points, Evgeny Losev 86 points. Some of the heavy hitters, Gotcha Shan was just in the top 15, and Kristaps Blues having to retire with an engine problem. So really unfortunate to hear that. Andrei Pesagov, 85 points. Fedor Vorobev, who had a huge crash in his Lada, 85 points. Evgeny Grigorov, 85 points. Anton Sarvanovsky, 84 points. Evgeny Ruzenikov, who we just see now, 84 points. Belarus champion Dmitry Nagula, 84 points. Gleb Shab, 83 points. Nikita Shikov, RDS champion, 83 points. Tetsuya Hibino, Japanese driver, 82 points. Denis Mihal, 82 points. Sergei Sak, Belarus champion, 81 points. So Gotcha Shan down in 21st position with 77 points. Ekaterina, 23 points. So Andrei Astapov, Ivan Kurbin, Vladimir Shivshan, Nikita Fetisov, Magomed Aramov, and Daniel Markel rounding out the top 30. So the top 2 drivers of the standings will go through on bye runs. So yeah, just rounding up top the qualifying, and as we said, at 5 p.m. local time, which is just over 3 hours 15 minutes, we'll be kicking off the top 32. You can follow all the action of the opening ceremony all online, but it's uncommentated. You can follow Nikolai's translation. But yeah, speak to you everyone in 3 hours.